Homestead here. Look what came in the mail. Tripod, tablet holder. We're in business for some good things. So today, if you haven't noticed from previous videos, we have this large white whale in the driveway. This is the home away from Homestead that you can read about it on the blog. There's a lot about it there, but today we're going to be setting this up and getting cleaned up and ready for summer fun. Got, as you see, some of the furniture is not where it's supposed to be, and that's because at the nose of the camper, the floor has gone south. Because if you look way in the back, this is a hybrid pop-up, and the seals before we purchased it went bad and leaked on the floor, and so all the floor from about the end of the couch up is toast, and that's what we're going to be replacing over the next few days. So stay tuned. So I've set the tripod up. It looks like it's in good working order. This mount here is not wide enough to house my iPad with the case on, so the case is going to have to come off, which makes me a little nervous, but I think I'll probably survive. So this whole thing will be one great big experiment, and I'll probably destroy my iPad in the process, which I've taken out of the case so I can work and talk about this. You guys can watch this work and whatnot. This probably will never make it to YouTube, we'll see. Yeah, the first step of anything in this thing is to make sure it's cleaned out, which we really didn't do a great job of in the fall. I'm going to turn this off, put the iPad safe. Alright, so I've taken the iPad off the tripod because, well, I've got that tiny little bit of space there and this giant piece of furniture to contend with. So I'm going to clean all this out, open it up, and I'll be back. So everything's cleaned out for the most part. Here you see our temporary fix from last year so we could press it into service. Can't be done again this year. I don't want to deal with it. I like to have a nice place. First step in this is I'm going to leave most of this down because everything in between the frame rails is squishy, and I gotta get that nose piece sliced up so I can turn this, and it's gonna slide right up there, and that'll cover the nose. I'm gonna get out as much of the old floor as I can. I'm a little iffy where it meets the wall because I don't want to cut too much floor out and then be going down the road with this thing and have the whole nose of the camper just flop down. That would make for a really bad day. Later on you can see it's gone down the edge here, so my counter is kind of angled like this, like that. So that's gonna the counter's gonna have to come out, and we're kind of fortunate in the aspect of pulling this stuff out because all of it is this really just crappy laminate junk that you look at funny and it breaks. So to give me the opportunity to get in here and actually make some nice fixtures for this and make it a home away from Homestead, which is exactly what it is. Alright, so the plywood I'm going to use for the floor has been pulled out, set up. I'm going to start marking it and measuring. This piece here was attached to the floor. I've cut it up the width of the plywood, and the plan is to cut the shape of the plywood for this little alcove here and all the way up across the whole nose to this other wall over here, and bring it in and slide it in. What I'm looking at now is where to bolt and screw to. This looks like wood here, along here, so I could probably screw directly into that and have a nice sturdy floor. And what I also am thinking about doing is going in between here with a couple of 2x4s just to make sure that the middle is nice and solid. The reason for being so absolutely ginger and tender in here is underneath this, if you look carefully down this hole here, there's a waterproof membrane. Although with the light showing through up front, we're far from waterproof. But I want to keep as much of that intact as possible because I don't know how expensive it is or even where to buy it. So we're going to be very careful. We're going to move slow. And we now have a plan. So out to the truck here where I have the sheetrock laid out, the plywood laid out, as the fans that are lumberyard guys shriek. So I'm going to go and measure this up, do a little chopping, and I'll be back. And with that, the first piece is cut. I arrived here, I took the distance. There's an alcove in the front of the camper which sticks fully across the whole camper, so that's this measurement here from there to the end, and then this butts in for the couch. Yeah, time to see if I can shoehorn this thing in. Alright, I'm still after it. The trouble I'm running into is the wood rail that's so nice here doesn't occur over here. It's typical American use it up, throw it away design. Never been a fan of that. So what I'm going to do is the camper itself, if you can see it there, is designed with a point of contact. There's one underneath this board too. On those bolts that you just saw was a block of 2x4, and that is what stabilized and held the floor. I got a closer look at the walls, and those are on a metal rail of sorts, so that kind of calms my fear of the whole thing falling in on itself. But at some point I'm going to have to address that, maybe with a block along the wall, and just screw the wall to the block on the inside to hold it all together. But for now, what I'm going to do is, this design is crap. If you are a camper maker, never do this crap. I'm going to replace these bolts here and here with 2 new bolts, stainless steel, and a long 2x4 that runs the length of the frame. And that will give me something to screw the floor to. When it goes in, it's going to go right up into the nose there. And I have a sneaking suspicion that after this nice 2x4 ends here, I'm in for the same fight on this side. So those will be new, and that way the floor will sit. I've got a lot of cleanup to do. It's that ridiculous white styrofoam crap that will outlive us all. I'm not intensely concerned about the insulation of the floor since we're only using this in the summertime. So if we got a little in there, it's great. If we don't have any in there, I'm not going to cry about it. But I do want a solid floor so I'm not standing up to my waist in my camper. Okay, this thing here, the strongest argument that can be made for having a working Sawzall in history. But I got the bolt off, and I'm pretty sure it's inside the frame somewhere. I'm going to have to dig around under there and find it, but I'm going to wrap this video here because in about 20 minutes it's going to break loose weather-wise and we're all going to get soaked. So check back. I'll put up more as the progress goes along. If you like what you watch here, don't forget to throw me a like, perhaps, maybe a subscribe. I'd love subscribers. I'll put all that stuff at the end.